everyone, and welcome to Beyond Focus TV. Of course, my name is Angie Daniel. I am your hostess for the night. And if this is your first time watching us, we are here on Tuesday night, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on Channel 68. Hopefully you'll be watching us more often and you become a regular. Tonight we have with us a representative from MCIF. Her name is Miss Janet Marcic. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll introduce her to you. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Si seulement, si seulement, si seulement, si seulement. Tu n'as jamais compris que c'était toi ma vie. Tu n'as pas écouté et pourtant j'ai parlé. Tant de fois essayé, enfin t'ouvrir les yeux. Jamais compris, c'était toi l'homme de ma vie. Il vaut mieux être deux si on veut être heureux. J'ai longtemps attendu un moment d'attention. Tu n'avais plus le temps d'écouter mes tourments, ni de me rassurer sur tes sentiments vraiment. Chanson. Si seulement, moi j'en perds la raison. Si seulement, on connaît la chanson. Si seulement, j'en perds la raison. Les années ont passé, loin de toi je sais mieux. Pourquoi même aujourd'hui, tu es un homme malheureux. Tu préfères rester seul, ne plus être prisonnier d'un amour comme le mien qui a perdu son geôlier. Si seulement, on connaît la chanson. Si seulement, moi j'en perds la raison. Si seulement, on connaît la chanson. Avec toi, toutes les émotions que j'ai gardées en moi, j'ai dû les oublier pour ne pas trop pleurer, tout accepter et mourir d'aimer. Si seulement, si seulement, si seulement, si seulement, si seulement.
Welcome back. Before I took a break, I promised that I was going to introduce to you Ms. Janet Marcic. Here she is, representative from MCIF. I'm always saying MICF. Welcome, welcome. How are
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for coming. First and foremost, I want to thank you for doing this, because I think the community needs to understand that on every level there are representative people that are doing positive things. Especially your center is helping women. I wanted to start asking you to describe the name, which is very interesting to me. I didn't want to say it out because, you know, for me the name have a meaning to it, and then I wanted you to give an explanation. So what's behind the name?
So the name is the Maura Clark Ida Ford Center. They're named after two Maryknoll nuns who were raped and murdered in El Salvador on December 2nd, 1980. The reason they were there was to empower the poor of El Salvador during the Civil War. And there were approximately 75,000 deaths during that Civil War. So think of like Yankee Stadium being completely filled and an extra 8,000 seats.
Oh my God.
Of the casualties during that war.
And, you know, and when I read your, like I was reading the name of it and then what it stood for these two women to give up their lives, which they didn't really, you know, they were nuns, so it was part of their duties, but to understand how their deaths affected people up here, and for you guys to create the center after them. I applaud you guys for that. The second thing I wanted to kind of bring up is, what is the mission of the center?
Well, what we do is we empower immigrant women, and actually some men have come to our center as well. And we provide many different services. One service we provide is 5 different levels of ESL, which is English as a second language. We also provide a GED course, which is in Spanish, because most of our population is of Latin American countries. So think about, for example, going to Germany and me telling you, take the German GED.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So to teach them a different language and then have them take an exam in that language is very difficult. So what we tend to do is give them the GED in Spanish to give them an opportunity to get a better job and have their GED. We also have an entrepreneurship course, which we do jewelry making, but that's like the vehicle so that they can make other items and know how to sell them, how much they cost, how to, you know, cost profit margin, how much to buy, things like that. We have a citizenship preparation course, and that citizenship preparation course helps them take the citizenship test in English. So it preps them with the questions they'll be asked, the demeanor and how they're supposed to be at the interview.
That's, you know, that's interesting. Because one of the things that, you know, I talk to people a whole lot, and understanding the reason why within certain group of people that we have a center. I can tell you how many centers that I feel like I feel like there are needs for them. Why did you guys feel like there was a need for this center? Like, what was the need behind it?
Well, a sister of charity who was a nun had been so moved by the story of Maura Clark and Ida Ford, she had decided to open a center to continue their legacy. Maura Clark and Ida Ford were from the Brooklyn and Queens diocese, and that's how the center ended up in Brooklyn. And we serve primarily Ridgewood and Brooklyn.
Okay. I wanted to bring forth the idea of the citizenship, because I think as immigrant we don't understand the benefit to it. And for people to be able to know that this is where they can go, learn it, and then be able to take the test and be a part of, you know, this big country that they live in. It's not like I'm not just here as a floater, but I'm here as a member of the society. I think a lot of immigrants, the first thing that they want to do is be able to participate, and then you guys teach them. How many you know, students do you guys have, like, on a regular?
For our citizenship course, we have approximately 15 participants in that program, and actually 2 have become citizens since we started in September, which is great.
So is there a time limit that you guys do this, or is it like a year-round?
It's the full academic year, and they come, and wherever they left off, that's where they start, and then we kind of rotate the questions, so eventually they get all the questions and all the information they need.
Okay, let's go back to the whole entrepreneurship. I love that. I love that you guys are giving people a chance to be able to create their own, because right now I think in America, if you don't have your own venue, your own identity, something that you can create of your own and be able to make it, you know, for you to at least be able to say, okay, I could survive on this, you're not going to make it in America. So how did that come about?
Well, many of the women have children. They really can't get a full-time job because they're the primary caretakers. And what we found is that they have skills. Some make rag dolls from their country, make tacos or some sort of food, and they sell it. The problem that we found is that they don't know how credit works. They don't know how to get a loan. for their business. They aren't sure, you know, for example, they'll sell the tacos for $2 and it costs $6 to make, you know?
Exactly. That is so true.
Then they up the price and nobody buys their food and they're like, well, I don't know why they didn't buy it. And I'm like, because they bought it for $2 and now you're selling them for $6, you know? And the other great thing is that we do have a computer lab. So we have a computer class, and also it's an opportunity to go online, where a lot of that population, you know, tends to be afraid of going online. They don't know what to look for, and you know, even just finding something like a business catalog or something like that, it kind of saves them time in doing their business.
I wanted to earlier when I was talking to you, we were talking about like the difference, like how community-wise. I mean, I feel like I'm making a difference, an impact within the show, because what we are here to do is to bring ideas, is to bring opportunity to people to learn of what's happening within just Brooklyn, you know, just Brooklyn itself. How do you feel like within this, working for the center? Like, what kind of an impact do you think you're making?
I think we're making a great impact. I mean, the fact that I have mothers come to me and say, you know, I went to my child's school today, and I was actually able to have a conversation with the teacher, or my son brought home homework and I was able to help him with the homework. Because a lot of times the parents feel intimidated, because the children end up catching language much faster. They're in school, they're immersed in English, and since the population is so isolated and they're afraid to venture out, not knowing English really, you know, keeps them in that little bubble of isolation. And what we found is by teaching them English, it teaches them like a survival skill and lets them move on. Things as simple as that we take for granted. For example, we have a pain and we want to go to the hospital. Being able to talk to the doctor and describe our pain.
You know, it's funny that you said that. I have a question about that, like why the whole isolation situation. But you know what? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. My name is Angie Daniel, of course, and I am here with Janet Marcic, representative of MCIF. It's a women's center that is located exactly
in 75 Lewis. It's the St. John's the Baptist Church.
Yeah, okay.
In Bedford-Stuyvesant.
In Bedford-Stuyvesant. We were talking about communities who feel isolated. Do you think, I mean, to me, a lot of times I could tell you like which group of people that I think are making an effort to be part of this big country, to be part of, you know, the beautiful thing that America stands for. And I also noticed that there's a lot of people that are just like step back. It's like I stay within my own little group and I'm going to do like the minimal, like I'll go there, get what I need to get and come back. And it's like my own little survival skills is like so short to just like venture out. Why do you think that is? Because you started talking about the isolation.
Right, well I think part of it is, for example, you get on a train, the train gets diverted. You don't understand what's going on, and you have to pick up your child from school. It's a panic thing, you know? So what I find is that when they do learn English, as they learn English, they tend to venture out more. Sometimes they walk out of their own community. Everyone speaks Spanish. They go to their local store. They speak Spanish. They are able to get what they need. But having that fear of not being able to communicate, which doesn't mean it encompasses everyone's fear, but just, you know, that's a big barrier.
To, you know, being able to communicate with the rest of the world and not just like, you know, with your own group of people.
Correct.
You know, an interesting part of it is that we were talking about like how they can go to their kids' school and talk to them. I've learned that when people understand the concept of how certain things are, because you know, when you come from a different country, the whole ideas are not done the same way. We don't communicate the same way. We do things on a different basis. So for them to be able to go back and venture out and say, okay, this is my culture and this is the American culture, and I'm going to blend into that. But let's go back to my question now I had for you when it comes to the center, in terms of like how you helping women. How many women do you guys help out? Well, you said, and men, I'm sorry.
We have about 12% population of men in the program as well. We have approximately 116 participants that come into the center. Approximately 100 of them are going to the ESL classes.
Okay.
And then summer repeats in the GED class and the computer class.
Oh my God, 100. So again, I feel like, you know, once you have a center within a community that can help people, that can change their lives, because this is really a life-changing.
Yes.
Do you feel like you need, is there anything that you feel like there's a need for that you guys cannot provide for right now?
Well, our waiting list is 125 so far.
Oh my God.
So that tells you
there's a need there.
there's definitely a need. Our phone rings throughout the whole year of people asking about the center. So it's not so much getting the people to come to the center, it's establishing more funding to
Okay.
expand the center,
Oh, so
to
you
help
guys are
more
not being
people.
funded?
We're funded, but you know, we definitely accept individual donations and even volunteering. You know, when I say providing a service, it not necessarily means, you know, give us money.
Okay.
It means also coming to volunteer and helping out.
So wait, let me understand this. Like, why is there 125 people waiting? What are they waiting for? Like, is that like a new class to start, or you don't have enough room?
We don't have, well, our teachers can have 20 people in each of the classes. That's 5 levels of GED.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, 5 levels of ESL. So because of that, we can't saturate the classes for them to have effective learning. If we put 40 people in the class,
It's not.
they're not going to learn as much as having that 20 people.
So
in the
basically, what
course.
you're saying is that you need more volunteers to teach.
Possibly more volunteers, people who can do one-on-one literacy
Okay.
is very helpful. People who would come in and just, you know, help out with identifying grants or identifying other programs that we can take advantage of to expand our, you know, our services.
Okay, 125. I'm trying to think, like, think it through while I'm talking to you. Like,
Right.
what else is like, besides, I mean, to have 125 people waiting just to be part of the program and not have, you know, the resources.
Well, this is not unique, unfortunately. Other nonprofits most likely have a long waiting list as well.
Wow.
So it is more of a sense of the need is bigger than
Than
my
what you can
center or
provide.
the nonprofits in Brooklyn. Because I think if anyone was sitting in my seat of any organization, they would definitely tell you they have a waiting list for their services.
And then also, like, just talking to you, seeing how gratifying, like, I think, you know, you take joy and pride in terms of what you're doing.
Yes, I mean, it's a great organization. I have to say that my staff is committed, and, you know, as far as salaries, I don't pay the staff much, and, you know, what I could say is that the compassion is what pays the staff. But unfortunately, compassion, you know,
Doesn't
is
take you
the
too far.
supermarket, you know? So they are very committed and compassionate. And, you know, the great thing is that we celebrate the different cultures.
Yes.
You know, I have a participant from Bangladesh, and I also have a participant from China.
Wow.
The rest of them are from Latin American countries. And what I find is that, you know, they welcome the other ethnicities, as we call it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not a Latin American center. It's just that primarily our population is Latin American.
Especially where you're located at.
Yes.
This is what it is, I would
And
say.
actually the interesting thing is the person from China started the intro. And when we started, literally we were using sign language to talk to each other because we really couldn't communicate. She is now a level 3 participant, and we actually have conversations. So that's a testament to the teachers that got her to level 3.
That's good. That's good. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the end of what I think needs to be done in terms of, like, community-wise, what we can offer you, or what I can, you know, talk to the community in terms of doing.
Great.
We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. I'm Angie Daniel. We are here with Janet Marcic, representative of MCIF and Brooklyn. Before we took a break, we were talking about the differences that the center is making within the community. I kind of forget to ask you, like, besides, I know, like, women are eligible. Is there a criteria for eligibility within the center?
Someone who wants to learn English.
Okay.
You know, that's our primary core funding. I mean, you know, not primary core funding, our primary courses.
Courses, yeah.
You know,
And computers.
computers. If they want to learn computers, they can do that too. The only problem may be that the computer class is bilingual,
Okay.
Because
it's Spanish English.
Yes, because the teacher has to explain to them, but all the software is in English.
Okay.
So it's a, it's a bilingual course. So if they're, patient enough, they can definitely learn from the computer course. If they can't speak Spanish, we could.
Which I think is very interesting, because in today's world, everybody needs to learn how to communicate within computer services.
Right.
Center, and to have that available to them, and for them to be able to learn both English and have the computer basic. It's really interesting. If anybody would like to volunteer or donate or get in touch with you in any way, shape, or form,
sure, they can call MCIF Center at 718-452-0167, or they can log on to our website at www.mcifc.org.
Okay, if they would like to volunteer, is there like a volunteer list, people waiting?
They can call and say they'd like to volunteer, and then we'd have them come and have a tour of the center. Okay. Because speaking about the center and actually seeing the center
are two different
things.
Yeah. I've learned, in time, that if you want a community to grow, the only thing you can do is for yourself to get involved within it. And if you don't try to get involved, you're not going to be able to make anything happen and get others to understand your point of view. And to have a center where you are empowering women, you bringing ideas, you getting them to do better for themselves, to make a better tomorrow for the whole family or community, whichever way you want to put it, is extremely important. And I think you're doing a tremendous work into that. Like, I am asking everyone, if you can go on the website, just look into, I mean, you have people that talk about like student who took classes, and then you have, like testimony.
Right. We also have a Facebook page, as everybody.
Oh, really?
Yes. So a lot of our participants love to comment.
Really?
On the Facebook page, yes.
What's the Facebook page?
Just on Facebook.
You just go MCIF?
Yeah, just Maura Clark Eda Ford Center.
Okay.
Clark with an E.
Okay.
And you could just find us on Facebook.
That is good.
See some of the history.
Hopefully, we'll get a couple of people to volunteer. I can't promise that I'll volunteer yet, because my Spanish is really terrible.
See, that's interesting you say that, because a lot of people think, when they say I'm going to volunteer, I can't speak Spanish. We are in the business of teaching English. Okay. So just the fact that most of our participants speak Spanish, and I do speak Spanish, I tend not to speak to them in Spanish.
Well, you don't speak to them in Spanish?
No. Okay. And as far as our teachers, they're all TESOL certified. They're, certified ESL teachers. And they won't just give you the answer. For example, if they want to know what grandfather is, we're not going to say abuelo. So they could all go, oh.
See, I knew that part.
Right, but,
because I watched Dora.
What we tend to do is we would say, like, they'd be like, what is grandfather? And the teacher would literally sit there and be like, this is you. This is your mom. This is, so that they would learn it in that way. Okay. So if you don't speak Spanish, it is not a reason not to volunteer. Because like I said, we are teaching them English. And actually, if you don't speak Spanish, it's more of an advantage.
It's more of an advantage
because it allows them to have to communicate with you.
Okay.
And it also gives them the courage to do that.
Just on the top of my head, and I think a lot of people are probably in my shoes, where we work 9 to 5. What time is the center open until?
Well, the classes are the ESL classes are from 9:15 to 12, and then the GED entrepreneurship classes and citizenship course is from 12 to 2.
Okay.
But we could always have, like I said, opportunities of volunteering that don't necessarily have to be with the participants.
Okay.
If someone's at home and they say, hey, I can find a grant for you and help you write that grant to get money for the center.
For the center.
That's the volunteering services.
Okay. Are you guys also open on Saturdays?
We are not open on the weekends. And again, it would be great to do that, but again, funding is what, keeps us not being open on the weekends.
Okay. Well, we're going to work into that.
Yes.
See what can happen.
You never know.
You never know.
Yes.
Well, this is the end of our show. I am hoping that you've learned or want to volunteer or be able to help out if you know how to write a grant. Call us. This is the end of our show. I'm glad that you've been watching, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time.
All right.
We're going to talk about this
Yes.
afterwards. Thank you, everyone. Next
Bye.
Tuesday, same place, same time.